Saltburn. This film was written and directed by Emerald Fennell and is currently available on Amazon Prime. So you can watch it. If you have a subscription, you don't have to pay for it. You can just watch it. So, what's up with Saltburn? The year's most divisive movie, I think. This is the Babylon of the year. I think it's even going to be divisive in the audio description community. I had a conversation not too long ago, just a couple weeks ago, where I was talking about when is it okay to reveal somebody in a film, because I didn't understand why certain films were holding characters back that were really obvious, and people were like, oh, I don't want to know anything. Well, they're going to hate this movie because there's a character that's revealed and I don't even think she did anything. There's a character that's revealed. It's when Felix and I don't know, Fievel or whatever his name was, Farley. I don't know, his name should be Fievel. They were talking to a girl named India. I don't think India ever did anything though. I don't think did she really do anything. But the narration actually points out that they're talking to a girl named India. We don't find out her name is India. I don't think she really even has any relevance or bearing, but it allows you to line up, I guess, in the credits who India was. I'm guessing India stands in the background a lot and just like, oh, look, where's India? So if you're excited, you're like, who's that girl in the background? Yeah, not like a massive contribution to the story. Definitely not a spoiler. But yeah, I thought that was funny. I was like, wow, that's okay. And India does what later on? How does India factor in? And as the movie was progressing, I was like, oh, India really doesn't do shit in this film. Okay. All right then. But the star of the film is Oliver Quick, played by Barry Cogan, who is... I could compare this film, but I'm not going to. You know what? If you have seen films before or read books, this film will feel very familiar to you. And I think that's what the people who don't like Saltburn are bothered by. I think, unlike that, though, what Emerald is trying to do here is put a 2023 spin on it. I don't know that I necessarily agree with all of her 2023 ways. I'm like, is this what we've come to in 2020? Is this what you have to say about 2023 cinema? Is this what we need in 2023 cinema for you to stand apart from other like-minded projects? But I think the choice of the name Oliver Quick has to be homage to Oliver Twist. Just has to be. He talks about, his poor upbringing and everything. And I think it's just sort of a reference to Dickens and the kinds of novels that Dickens wrote about little orphan boys rising up, or little poor children, great expectations. Pip, rising up and figuring out a way how to change their lives. So I think it's an homage to that. And he's at Oxford, and he's clearly very intelligent, but he's not one of the rich kids. And the rich kids all hang out together, and he really wants to get in with them. He really wants to get in with Felix, who's played wonderfully by Jacob Elordi. Jacob Elordi is having a year, and I hate the fact that he's going to walk away from this year with, like, nothing. He doesn't have Oscar buzz for either of his performances, although he's very good in both of them. This and Priscilla, he is just, he's on my list. Like, I thought he was great in both films. Very integral to both films, but yet somehow overlooked. It's very weird. And then there's also Farley, played by Archie McGatway. I hope I didn't. I'm sorry. I will try not to mispronounce that name too many times, lest I mispronounce it again. And I even asked my Amazon device to see what she would say. and I have her set to British too, so I tried. and Farley is sort of like not really related to, but almost like the pet to Felix. Felix's family. The whole thing is very, um, it's very reminiscent of something that I really, if I say it out loud, then you're going to be thinking it the whole movie. But it's very reminiscent of a certain something. But Farley is sort of a hanger on. I'll say that already. He's by certain choices that have been made for him, he is like unofficially high society without actually being high society in many ways. So Felix is the true wealthy, uh, I don't know, preppy, whatever you want to call it. The person whose life obviously Oliver wants to follow. He wants to be like, and Oliver tries to get himself sort of closer to Felix and his girlfriend Annabeth, who vanishes. I don't know. I guess that's a spoiler, but Annabeth just not that important to the plot. Her in India, I don't know. They just went and fucked off. I don't know. They just left the film. Um, but it's like Annabeth is there one minute and she's like, "Hi, I'm important to the film," and then like we move to another location and you're like, "What happened to Annabeth? Is anybody okay? She's gone. All right then." So we moved to Saltburn. Basically, Felix invites Oliver to come stay at his estate. Is being really reserved. um, I don't palatial resort. I don't know how to describe Saltburn. It's ridiculous. Um, take whatever in your mind you have, whatever you think Oprah lives in, and then call that Saltburn, and then you'll be fine. Uh, whatever in your mind you're like, Oprah probably lives in 5 houses that are all like connected together. Sure, that's probably Saltburn. It just feels like unnecessarily large. It's great because when Felix goes in and he's like showing him around the house, there's so many rooms. They go through this big introduction of the house, and like there are rooms where he doesn't even like. He's like, I don't even remember a house that's been so big that they don't even know what the room is for. But I love when Felix just walks past the room and he's like, "This is the blue room." And then they just like leave it at that. This is the room. It's blue. We have so many rooms. We have a room that's just blue. Because we can. Because we're rich. And we were like, you know what? We want to have a blue room with where it's blue inside of it. What are you guys doing there? I don't know. It's blue. It's just sad. Anyway, gives you an idea of the opulence that Felix comes from. And then we meet his parents, who are played by Richard E. Grant and Rosamund Pike. And they have a house guest is currently staying. I don't want to spoil the name of her character. I'm just going to say this is a Carey Mulligan cameo. But what they call her in the film is actually what she's credited as, which is hilarious. And Felix also has a sister, and that's basically all you need to know at this point. There's some staff. They obviously have staff around the parts, around the facility, and Oliver is sort of welcomed into the family, and henceforth the strange shit begins. Yeah, if you're worried about like a lot of weird stuff happening early on in the film, no. Whatever you've heard about Saltburn, actually, I don't even think you've probably seen something weirder. I'm just gonna be honest. Emerald does push some boundaries with some stuff that may churn your stomach. I won't lie, but have I seen worse? I've seen Salo, so So the answer is yes. I appreciate what she's trying to do here, but she's doing it in a way where I think she still thinks she can get away with it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, she's not trying to push her audience. She's not trying to revolt her audience away in such a mass dose. What she's trying to do is titillate, tantalize, disrupt, cause a conversation, whatever you think. You know what I'm saying? Get you shook, for lack of a better phrase, uh, throughout this film in ways where you'll just be like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my, oh, did that just happen? Oh my god. This film was not for everybody. I would never in a million years say, watch this with your parents, watch this with, you know what? Watch this with anybody that you would watch porn with. So probably not many people. um, I know it seems silly, but I actually really like this film. Um, yeah, I don't know if it's going to be in my top 10 for the year, but it may come really close. The problem is that I I see a lot of similarities. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I'm struggling with this original screenplay thing. Do you know what I'm saying? With like what Emerald Fennell really is bringing to this film, because this is not the first time that we've seen something like this, but this is her putting her spin on it. So, um, this is it the most original thing I've seen this year? Did she really like reach out into the stars and come up with a concept that was just like, wow, I can't believe anyone has thought of that before? No. Um, Truthfully, what Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach did with Barbie is more original in concept than Saltburn is. Saltburn has a lot of homage it has to pay to a lot of things that came before it in order for it to really be able to take its place in cinematic history. But it is a bold piece of filmmaking, much like Fennell's last film, Promising Young Woman, was. And it features great performances. Barry Keoghan here is a lot better than he was in Banshees. I didn't get the love for his performance in Banshees. Saw the film twice last year. It was one of my favorite films of last year. And it wasn't because of Barry Keoghan. And I didn't get the love. I didn't understand why we were nominating him. Like, the whole thing, it just way over my head. I was like, this is not something that is going to make a lasting impact on me. I thought he did a nice job, but then again, there were other people in that ensemble who did nice work too, and weren't necessarily going to be recognized with awards. There's a lot of people, like in this film, Jacob Elordi does a really nice job, and he's not going to be recognized with awards. Richard E. Grant actually does. He doesn't have as much to do, but he does a really nice job. And isn't Archie McGetway does a really nice job with what he has to do. No awards will be given to him. So I felt like one of those, just like an unsung hero, but not the thing that you focus in on. I'm not honed in on that. I'm very much honed in on Barry's performance in this film, because you kind of have to be. This film I would say almost begs a rewatch if it wasn't for the fact that Fennell actually kind of recaps the film for you at the end. Otherwise I would have totally wanted to rewatch it. But then she kind of recaps it, which I don't know that I needed. Although the stuff that she brings in is sort of like, how did we do that? Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's sort of like the recap that exists within Christopher Nolan's The Prestige, where they actually explain how The Prestige happened towards the end of the film. And then you're like, oh, I see what you were doing there. I didn't necessarily need it here, and it's offered to me, and I don't hate it. It took away the need. As the film was going, I was thinking, I'd watch this again. Oh my God, I want to see this again so I can see. And then that happened, and I was like, I don't know if I need to see it again right on. It just kind of took away the desire, the need to watch the film a second time right away. So, um, yeah, a lot of people are talking about Rosamund Pike. She's really good in this. She is really good in this. Do I hate the idea of her being nominated? No. Do I think, is she in like my top five? No. Um, I don't think her writing is exceptional in this. The lines that she's been given are the absolute star of the show. She is exceptional with her line delivery. I do have to give her an immense amount of props for that. Just a lot of love for line delivery, and I think that's what people are gravitating towards. But as far as the dynamic range of her performance, it's not a very rangy performance. But if she was just given a little bit more screen time, maybe. Maybe this is a performance that would make the final five. I don't know. It feels like a very bubble performance. I don't think it's like a top five. I think it's maybe like a top 10, 15, 20 at least. But I think it was a very strong performance. I'm just thinking about all of the other things I've already seen this year and some of the other people who I thought really delivered heartbreaking work and aren't even getting noticed, like Patricia Clarkson and Monica, was beautiful and had a really complicated role and truly like layers and nothing. Just dead silence because she's in a film that just an independent film, so God forbid anybody watches it. So Pike's in a more accessible film, so she's getting praise, and a lot of it has to do with Fennell's script. But Fennell's script also, I have a problem with saying best original screenplay because it's so homage-y. It has, I don't even know if that's a word. I feel like it has something to do with cheese. But it's, yeah, it definitely tips its hat to everything that came before it. And I don't think that that's unintentional. I think Fennell is very aware of the fact. That's why I think somebody's name like Oliver Quick, which feels almost too good to be true, that your name would be Oliver Quick. I think that's a very selected name. So, but and I have to talk about the score, by the way. Score here, loved it. It's a standout score for me. Also, just the music supervisor in general found a lot of really good songs to weave in that feel appropriate for the film that we're watching. And then also, I'm sure that this is something that could appear in production design / costume design. There's sort of a part in the film, well, production design really, because I mean, for most of the film, you're at Saltburn, which is this gigantically opulent mansion. It's got a maze. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's huge. It's a gigantic, way more than anybody could possibly need. With the kinds of stuff in it too that are just hilarious. Some of the things that Felix points out about their house is just, I love that sequence. The welcome to my house. I love that part. Just the whole thing. I don't want to, if you thought me spoiling the Blue Room was the funniest thing, it's not. It is so far not the funniest thing. Please listen to everything he says. Everything Felix says when he's introducing just cracked me up. The film walks a fine line between every genre. It can horrify you. It can make you laugh. It's actually got some dramatic moments to it. It can be kind of thrilling. It's got a lot going for it. It's very well made. I think I think they've beaten it up because it is very familiar. And I think that's intentional on Fennell's part. But at the same time, it makes me want to take it out of certain categories, to name it, to whittle it down to one of the 5 best original screenplays when it is this clearly, you know what I'm saying? Like drawing from so many things that came before it, and you can kind of feel those things like pulsating and see those things. And yeah, it just doesn't, it's hard to say that this the best original concept we came up with this year. However, I love her writing. I love the lines that she gives to these people. She's a great writer. It's very, very divisive. I'm so all over the place with this film. I love it. This is a film to talk about. What you need to do is you need to watch this film and then find somebody else who's seen Saltburn and then talk about it. Because watching it together, if you take somebody to it and you're not 100% sure that they're down for it, now if you can find somebody who you know is down for pretty much damn near anything, go for it. But if you're questioning at all, and you got somebody in your family who's like, I like Oscar films and I like the prestige of them. Did they like Babylon? That would be my. If the answer is no, they didn't, and they found, I would not put them through this. The films are not necessarily alike, and their shock values are coming from two completely different places, but it's kind of the same thing. They both include moments where it's like, oh my god, oh my god, and I think that's where that comes in. So audio description wise, uh, I actually really like the audio description. I don't mind. Some people really mind audio description like this that kind of makes decisions for them or fills in too many gaps. Um, and I literally did a thing not too long ago uh, where I broke it down, the reality, because I've been on both sides. I was sighted from 34 years and now I've been blind for 6. So I know what it's like. I know what the differences are. And I listed all of the things that just are not translated to us. So the fact that somebody may translate a little something extra than what you're used to and not giving you just like some bare bones, um, um, sort of like emotionless audio description, the fact that there may be somebody who's named earlier than they need to be, then their name is revealed in the script or whatever your problem is, you always need to reveal that there are 10, you need to remember that there are like 10,000 things that you don't know that's happening on frame right now. You don't know where the camera is, you don't know where the color grading is, what the color grading is. You have, are we in a wide shot? Are we in a tight shot? Um, yeah, who's in focus, who's not? I mean, there's so many things that you don't know. Take the few things that the audio description is willing to give you and run with it. Um, and let it close that gap for you. So, um, I do feel like I can speak more, even more so than to score and sound design than probably anybody else can, because uh, when you kind of strip the other stuff away, I really do notice scores. And I've noticed a lot of scores this year that people haven't noticed that I thought were really exceptional in films that I think people are just glossing over and they're going straight to the ones that are like Oscar bait. And I'm like, there were some films this year that had really good scores that I'm not even talking about. But I really enjoyed the score for El Conde, for example. The film didn't have audio description, but because of that, I was sitting there listening to a film, and I really came to appreciate its score. No one's talking about it. It had one of the best scores of the year, and I was like, nothing. Just dead silence. I get it. It's a Chilean vampire film, but its score is delicious. Um, so yeah, this is a score. This is a film. I like the audio description. I like this film. I don't know where I'm going to be with this film. I feel like this is a film that could, on second viewing, I could go anywhere with this. But right now, I'm really high on it. And maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't be. I don't know. My only concerns are with the fact that it's not quite as original as it may think it is. And I'm throwing out the misconception, the preconceived notions that I had coming from other people. I'm throwing that out. I'm not grading people for it. I'm not grading against it for it not being as shocking and divisive as other people were like, oh my god, Saltburn. Oh my god. I mean, it does have some stuff, but it's not. I was expecting way worse. This is... Eh. If I was the first review out of the gate, you wouldn't even have known that this film was uh, anything. But yeah, uh, it's very entertaining. I liked it. I think this is like the menu for me, where I don't know. It's a weird film, and I liked it, and I'm going for it. I'm gonna give Saltburn an A. I'm on the Saltburn train. I don't think it has a shot in hell, really, of getting awards consideration. But maybe if there's enough people out there who just really appreciated the whole totality of the film, um, and what Fennell was trying to do and trying to say, um, maybe, I don't know. Funny thing is, this is the performance that Barry deserves to be nominated for, not last year. But he doesn't stand a chance. The category is way too tight for him this year. So he's going to have to just deal with that Golden Globe nomination. There's no way that he leapfrogs, Paul Giamatti, Cillian Murphy, Coleman Domingo, Jeffrey Wright, Leonardo DiCaprio, even Andrew Scott, and Bradley Cooper. It's just, it's not happening. So there's too many people standing between him and a nomination. But he's very good. So check it out. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please click that subscribe button. I am trying to break 200 before the end of the year. That's my goal. I'm really close. Freakishly close. Disappointingly close. I'm so close where it's like, if I collapsed before the finish line of a race, where I could see the finish line, I would just be crying. I'm so close. I'm like, I can't get just like 3-4 more people. Seriously? Like, come on. Really? Anyway, yeah. So I am really close. And I have a website, MacMovieGuy.com. You can follow me on X, Threads, or Instagram at MacMovieGuy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. It'll let you know who's narrating your favorite films and television series. That's it for me today. I'm festive today. It's a little bit before Christmas. I've got a Home Alone shirt on and a red hat, and I'm trying to get in the spirit. Anyway, I'll watch something else and see you guys on the other side.